Hello everyone and welcome back to the DreamHack Open 2015 live from tour. I'm Richard Lewis, the host of this analysis desk. Next to me is our resident expert, Wax Angel, who is still very smug. His predictions have been coming true.
I think I'm going to keep the streak going this time because I think for this match, everyone has the same prediction. It's going to be PartinG in a landslide.
Yep.
Nope.
Well, what? Hang on.
You got to keep... Okay.
Just before we get into this Korean overlord nonsense, let me just introduce the other two guys. We have obviously got Todd with us there. He's the one who's always looking happy. You can spot him a mile off. And then on the end, despite looking like my uncle, it's actually Nathanius. And yes, he is only 22?
22.
It's incredible. It never ceases to amaze me. It's like,
thanks.
Have they conducted experiments on you to find out like right. Anyway, before we get into PartinG MaNa, which is going to be the next game that we bring up, we're going to take a look at the bracket because, like I say, this is a dream hack. You know what I mean? Nothing stays still. Everything's evolving. Everything's developing as we're talking. So I'll throw this over to you, Wax, since you're our expert. What do you think of some of the matchups that are happening at the moment?
I mean, right now, it's still like full steam ahead toward that PartinG versus Hydra Grand Finals. But there's still a few dark horses in the bracket who could cause a stir. Like Rain has started playing, he's starting to look like his former self in GSL occasionally. So depending on how much he's brought his form up, this could be a tournament where he announces his return, so to speak.
What do you think about Lil Bo versus Marine King? Can the French do it?
I mean, I should pretend to care, but I don't know. Neither of them are really.
You really know how to walk the crowd, don't you?
I know. Like, everyone's left now.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get on to more pressing matters. This is MaNa PartinG. I like the way you've just completely swapped while you're there. I've got production in my ear going, what's happened? They're having it change.
It's your imagination.
No, you're disgusting.
Did something happen?
Yeah, probably. Definitely not your haircut. That didn't happen. So let's talk about this game. We've had Wax's thoughts about, PartinG's going to demolish everyone. He was straight in there.
Wasn't listening.
Yeah, but let's talk about MaNa then. He's coming off it was a tight series against Firecake, but does that give him maybe a little bit of an advantage? He's still warm, he's still ready, he's coming in.
Not really, but I want to believe, man.
Yeah.
It's PvP. Like, a lot of things can happen, things can go wrong. People are going to roll the dice, no matter who you are here, and I think MaNa has a shot at winning. Yeah, okay, well, we can see the head-to-head here. Nathanius, talk us through these statistics and what they mean.
I mean, it's Protoss versus Protoss, and as the resident Terran expert, I think this probably doesn't mean anything.
I mean, there are some Protoss players who agree with you.
So the other thing that comes into it, well, to be fair, it's usually the whiny Protosses that talk about PvP like not making any sense. But I think generally speaking, you have like the person who's better is gonna win.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like scaled this much, it's gonna be a very difficult match for MaNa. I'm on like everyone else's side. Like I'd love to see him like take a map or push through. It'd be really insane. But that's the thing. Like if he won, we would all be talking about it as like the biggest upset of this tournament by far.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that. But some thoughts as well about PartinG here, because you haven't really elaborated on why you think he's going to demolish everyone.
I mean, in general, his micro is just so good, especially his early game micro. And MaNa micro, it's good, but it's never been his strongest suit. And I think, PartinG, if he does any kind of early game, these recent games in GSL tournaments, he's shown he likes to do proxies, he likes to do early game aggression, and I feel like if he goes for that, MaNa's going to have a really hard time holding it off.
Well, look, we're going to go over and see how the players are looking before this game. We're going to talk to somebody who does good work without the need to beg for donations, Nathanius. We're going to throw over to Smix, who's with the players now.
Thank you very much, Richard. I am here with the two players for our first match of the round of 16. It'll be PartinG versus MaNa. This is bound to be an interesting interview because we have PartinG over here. PartinG, earlier you talked about how you really want to meet some French girls. But before you can do that, you're going to need to win if you want to get their attention. And if you want to do that, you need to beat MaNa. And you actually lost to him recently 2-0, so what are your thoughts?
I need a trophy because because easy get French girl.
So are you saying MaNa is easy?
No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy.
So are you saying MaNa is easy?
No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So I need a trophy. No, he is good player, but now PartinG really want to win. So trophy and French. Never mind. So now maybe harder for MaNa. Harder for him.
All right, all right. Well, we just heard PartinG's thoughts, and MaNa, when I spoke to you earlier, you had only great things to say about PartinG, but now you're going up against him. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's going to be hard for me for sure, but it's not going to be easier for PartinG as well. I'm going to do my best, and I can do it again if I beat PartinG 2-0 before in the online qualifier. It's offline, so whatever, we can do it. Come on, PartinG, let's fight.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. Only one of these players will move on to the round of 8. We'll find out who it is. But before we get this game started, let's head back to the desk with the boys.
I think that's a contender for the most troll interview I've ever seen at DreamHack. Like, what was going on there? That was just ridiculous. That trumps anything at Moscow, I think, in my opinion. But anyway, there you go. PartinG in a very confident mood, as we expect. And it was good to see a nice sort of show of sportsmanship in that interview. You know, they're having a little bit of back and forth with each other. I mean, PartinG's talking about how, you know, oh, I'm only here for the party. I'm only here for the French girls. But he means business, really, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think certainly helps to flaunt that first place check around, whatever you're trying to do, for sure.
How would you know that?
I mean, if PartinG, if you're
is that a guess?
Usually it's on me you're picking.
No. Maybe it's Apple Watches have the same effect.
What does it feel like, Todd, to walk out with the trophy and the girl?
It feels pretty good. It was a long time ago, actually. I don't really remember. So.
Well, here he is. He's the man himself, and you can see from those statistics, absolute bit of a monster, especially against Terran. Talk us through some of those stats and what they mean for this match, Wax.
Well, Nate, you said you were on the verge of calling PvP a coin flip, and you kind of like tracked back on that. But I mean, there's some truth in that. Like a lot of good Pro Ass players, like Deer and Stats, have said, like half jokingly, half seriously, PvP is a prayer, and in that extent, maybe even maybe MaNa has a chance here if he can flip a few coins correctly.
One thing, though, that you touched on is the micro. That's very important. And as much as I agree with you, I feel like another very important aspect of PvP is being able to read your opponents. With the minimal amount of information that you have, being able to figure out what he's doing and adapting to it. And PartinG is one of the very best at this. All matchups, like all rounds, across all matchups, he's always able to kind of realize what he's up against. Not just stylistically, but sometimes in details. He's going to do a tailored, perfect counter to what his opponent's doing. If that happens here, he's just going to crush MaNa completely. So it's going to be for MaNa, to have refined builds and maybe trick PartinG here and there if he wants to win this series.
Well, trick him how? Talk to.
Like,
what would you do?
Hiding your tech very well, for example, so that it doesn't get scouted either by the probe, by the stalker that your opponent could send across the map, or by something that we've seen a lot more, I guess, recently. That's flying your mothership core into your opponent's base before recalling it out. Like, if you place your tech building in places where it's right as he's going to fly in there, it's going to be spotted very easily. If you place it in a corner and then you play very defensively, prevent your opponent from scouting early on, then maybe he's not going to know what you're going to go into, he's not going to start preparing, and that way there is a way you can be partnered. Like if these two played with all maps revealed, I don't think MaNa will ever win against PartinG, but now he's going to have some opportunity to maybe hide something on the map, It's PvP. You can do a lot of things like that, hide a Dark Shrine on the map, hide a Stargates. MaNa is definitely one of the guys that can mix something like that in.
Well, we'll take a look at the tail of the tape for MaNa as well. Again, Wax, talk us through these numbers.
What? Oh, the versus Pro Ass win rate? Well, I mean, the stats are showing that MaNa has like a higher win rate in the short term than PartinG, but like that doesn't mean much here. It's like it's all about the quality of competition, and PartinG had a few tough matches, close matches against players like Stats, players like Hero, and
What about MaNa? Did he not have some tough matches?
Like, not that tough.
Europeans, bad Europeans.
Man, you're really baiting this.
Yeah. The bait
I'm
is
trying
strong.
to allow you to do your job. You've not been edgy enough, man.
Yeah, I know. We're all a little bit disappointed in the lack of edge, Wax. What's
I don't
happened?
know. This deafening silence kind of scares me now.
Is that what it is? Is it because you're sober? We never tweet drunk.
Drink
bro.
a few monsters, man. You're going to do better. You can do better than that. You're better than that.
Just get
He
wired.
tweeted me this morning asking where he could get a Bloody Mary. I was expecting the show to be, a car wreck of him. Just, I don't know anything. But
I mean, we could do that tomorrow, perhaps.
Yeah, well, I think we'll make a point of it. Look, I need to get you some nailed-on predictions. I know asking predictions in a match where there's a clear favorite. It's never easy because obviously someone has to try and vary it up. But I mean, I think we're all going for PartinG. But I will ask anyway. I'll start with you, Todd.
I mean, my head says PartinG clearly, but my heart says MaNa, and I'm going to go with my heart. I think it'd be pretty cool to see, you know, an ex-DreamHack champ do well here. I think MaNa, well, I hope MaNa wins 2-1, rather.
I mean, it's hard to say anything other than a 2-0 for PartinG. It's tough. I'll be the guy that just goes with the book, and so that you can copy me.
No, yeah, I got to go with Nate here.
No, you copied him. He was like going to call that, and you knew it.
But I predicted
He's the
first.
expert.
I predicted
okay?
first. So I have that. It's okay.
Okay, all right. We will let you have that, mate. We'll let you have that. Anyway, great predictions, guys. Thanks for all your thoughts. But without any further ado, we're going to get to this game. It should be a great series. Here's hoping. It's MaNa versus PartinG. Let's throw over to the casters. Todd and Nathanius. Take it away, boys.
All right. Well, we're ready to kick this series off pretty soon. It sounds, Todd. Are you enjoying yourself here?
I'm enjoying myself quite a bit, man. Lots of good games. It's funny, like even though you know there was a few technical issues, like I never really seem to mind. I just sit back, wait until it's resolved, and then as long as there is some good StarCraft showing in the day, I'm a happy guy. Yeah,
this doesn't take not too much to please the fanatics. The game quality's been picking up. I think the last series was really good.
Yeah.
And this venue is quite nice. Like, you know, the first DreamHack that's ever been in France. The venue here in Tours is super cool. Very, very nice seating arrangement. I think it goes across the board. A lot of people have been talking nicely about it.
How do you like France, man?
I mean, this is like the second weekend I've ever been in France.
So what? You got some experience coming here.
The quality of the bread is pretty high. I'm a bread fanatic. I'll give it that.
All right.
It sounds like we're just about ready to jump into this series, Yoan. It's going to be a PvP. We'll start off on Echo, and I looked for probes moving across the map at the start, but it seems we're okay. We're safe in the cheese department. In the top left position, the man who's poised to potentially take this tournament, he is Yoey Flashwolves, PartinG. Pretty good Protoss, would you say, Todd?
Not bad.
Yeah. He's all right.
He has his moments.
Yeah. He's come all the way over here, and this guy who we just saw to defeat Firecake to actually make it here to the round of 16, of course, our blue Protoss player in the bottom right, representing Team Liquid, he is MaNa.
MaNa, who made an interesting first pylon in a place where you usually don't really see that one. You usually would be behind your mineral line, around your mineral line, or towards the ramp a lot more.
So immediately my eyes are drawn to the Roddy Gate. PartinG has started his gateway at 11 supply, Todd. What does this mean? What can this lead into?
Wasn't he 12?
It looked like an 11.
It was pretty early, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
got
either way,
lead. So what can he do with this?
Usually you either going to want to be aggressive or get some quicker tech with the quicker cybernetic score, but the weaker economy that you're going to have. So we'll see how many gases he takes, and then we can figure out. So far, it's going to be 2. Not just taking them, it saturates. You know, if he does 3+3 very on, obviously it's going to be a very quick Stargate almost every single time. Whereas MaNa, he's opens a lot more standard, you know, with the Gateway 13, scouted for proxies around his base, giving a lot of credit to PartinG in terms of proxy, whereas PartinG, he scouted absolutely nothing. That probe is going in a weird direction. I'm starting to wonder if maybe we're going to see MaNa proxy a Stargate.
I wanted to ask, you know, when you look at the difference between PartinG cutting that probe to get his gateway and naturally his cybernetics core much earlier where it hasn't even started yet, just now for MaNa, does MaNa sending that probe out to scout so much around, does that even things out? Like, he's really showing a lot of, as you said, respect to PartinG in terms of his aggressive styles.
Yeah, he's going to lose a few minerals to do that, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Like PartinG, you know, this game, he didn't scout for proxies for a very long time. If there had been a proxy, he would have taken a lot of damage. So he gambled a little bit in regards to that. And usually Koreans, they do that a lot, actually. They don't give, you know, too much respect to their opponents in terms of the potential that there could be a proxy out there. And now in a second, we're going to find out what PartinG actually wanted to go for. But since he gets scouted, like even if he was planning to go for a very fast target, once you get scouted, a lot of the time you're going to have to get a Stalker first. And now I think, yeah, he made the Stalker and then went for the target. He's going to check inside of his main if there is a hidden probe. There isn't going to be. He left MaNa. Yeah. What is he going for, though?
I mean, all MaNa saw when he went into PartinG's base was the gases, but he saw the Chrono Boost on the Warp Gate, and he saw the Chrono Boost on the Stalker that came out.
But you saw the earlier core, like that's a big tell that your opponent wants to do something. Oh my god, I think this might be either an Oracle into Blink or an Oracle into DT here. And
well, this is just like the kind of bully type play that we were talking about from PartinG.
Usually you don't really need to get your Twilight this early, but with the way PartinG did 3+3 so fast, because usually if you do that, you're not going to have the gas to start an Oracle as your target finishes, but here it's going to be the case.
He doesn't have the supply to start an Oracle, does he? He doesn't need a pylon. He just started a pylon now. He's at 26 out of 26. He chronoed the Stargate and has nothing building.
What?
Well, that's not the kind of mistake we expect from PartinG.
What the hell?
It's like that time I tried to cheese someone with Oracles. It's like oh, my Stargate's ready. I don't have any supplies.
When cheese fails.
When cheese fails. Well, now he opens up a little bit of supply now the pylon's finished up, but definitely delaying it. So choosing now to go straight into Phoenix. What? Phoenix Blink? Is this a thing? How often do you see this?
It's
PartinG messing with us?
And MaNa's going for Phoenix as well.
Okay.
Without Blink though, he's gonna have quite a bit more gas to work with.
How often is it a Phoenix Blink versus a Phoenix Stalker without?
You know what's crazy here? Is that did his Phoenix complete? Yeah, I think it did. MaNa's gonna see a Phoenix and he's gonna go for mass Phoenixes, thinking it's Phoenix versus Phoenix. Except he's gonna be Blink Stalkers, Nathanias. What the hell? Like how do you face? Oh wow, actually, like this needs to be careful.
So this
about
is just getting weird. So this is coming down to that mind game thing you were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Like tricking your opponent, but
trying to read them, but they're both like writing incorrect things even about themselves, so you don't actually know what you're looking at.
Yeah, so far it looks like it's MaNa that's going to be tricking. PartinG that's going to be tricking MaNa completely in this game. Oh, he's throwing down the Twilight Council. What did MaNa see with his Phoenix? Did he go across the map completely? He didn't fly in there. Yeah,
it doesn't look like it.
He hasn't seen anything. Imagine if it were DTs, man. He would have to chrono boost out an Oracle, and I think he'll just die.
Yeah, even that gets really, really tricky. I'm not
entirely
about
sure.
To
finish
already. PartinG shouldn't be able to swat him down, right? Like PartinG, should he try to expand behind this? I feel like with the Photon Overcharge, can MaNa defend?
Yeah, he went for 3 gateways with this, so he's going to be warping in Stalkers 3x3 and trying to go for a timing.
And PartinG didn't even get a Mothership Core. Like he's just full out on the aggressive unit.
Well, the thing is, if you get a Phoenix like this, you're very safe against an Oracle, which is the thing you're the most scared about early on like this in a game. So Wax touch on this. The micro here going to be very important in this case.
Well, I mean, force fields aren't going to work at all. He just blinks straight up, grabs one of the Stalkers with his Phoenix, guaranteeing him that kill. And now he comes up, he can even help delay the Graviton beams using his own Phoenix, and PartinG's just getting right up in MaNa's face.
Yeah, maybe pulling some probes here would have helped, but now both players are going to be warping in Stalkers 3x3. MaNa's blink is not near finished here. Is he going to have a second Photon Overcharge to work with? He's going to need that. The thing is, already having Blink here, PartinG can step inside the Photon Overcharge area, snipe units, and then blink back.
I mean, he can only even build 2 Stalkers now as that pylon got picked up. PartinG pushing very deep and then blinking away. Good use of the lift up. He blocks that Stalker from being able to blink away. But PartinG has this pylon position in the natural, and, MaNa, does he have another pylon about to finish? Okay, he does, so only blocked for a little bit.
PartinG's covering his bases as well. He's getting an observer behind this, being very scared of the potential for DTs here, because he's seeing a lot of Stalkers, but he hasn't seen the Twilight, I think, so he's not sure whether there's Blink or not. No Void Ray was made ever, so with this Stalker count here being superior for PartinG, as soon as that Photon Overcharge ends, he's going to be able to, I think, get in there and possibly finish it.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot. I mean, by the time this Photon Overcharge ends, yes, Blink is very close to completing. He gets the Zealot counter warp in to pull the probes, and even if he doesn't look like he's actually killing that many, but he delays the mining for quite some time, delays, the potential next Stalker warp in.
He's like 3 Stalkers ahead, I think, at least.
Yeah,
how many Stalkers? 14 to 10, and he's going for it.
PartinG just has so much. The last of the Phoenix going to try to pick these up. That Photon Overcharge comes to an end as MaNa's Blink finishes, and he does push PartinG down the natural ramp, but there's so much for him to fight into, and now PartinG, he still can warp in right outside his base.
If MaNa sets up in a concave up the ramp, it's going to be too hard for PartinG to engage into him. Even with like 3 to 4 more Stalkers, he's going to be very difficult. So MaNa right now is going to start warping in across the map, and I think PartinG's realized that. He's going to go for a contain instead, defend back at home with the Stalkers that he's warping in there. And already having a Robo, all he has to do is defend there, go for a Nexus, and this will go into, I guess, expansion versus expansions, because I just don't see MaNa attacking. But look at this, MaNa's heading on a gateway.
Wow, you think he's just going to go all out in the counterattack?
I think he needs to realize that he's just not going to work, cancel the gate, and start a Nexus. I don't know why he's going for the 4th gateway. I guess he already has the pylon there. Maybe he thinks he needs to commit to this in terms of getting more Blink Stalkers and going for the win. Let's see how he reacts to realizing that PartinG went back home.
I mean, if we look at the tech setup that MaNa has, right, there's no robotics facility for him. He only has that Stargate that he built in the Twilight Council for Blink. But PartinG does seem to be set up a little bit better for the later stage of the game because he can smoothly transition if both players were to expand. I think so. Is it that why he feels like he has to do something? Or?
Yeah, I think he might think he's like more behind than he actually is. I think he still has the probe on the top right-hand side of the map hidden, so he could proxy some pylons. Okay, no, it's just a pylon.
That is the pylon, and that's still very, very tricky.
Very far. What's the Stalker count? It's like very similar still. 17 to 17. But 1 century for PartinG. If he pulls back and has the Guardian Shield to work with, it's going to be great for him.
That's a pretty big boost in terms of the straight-up fights, and the Observer can go up. He sees the armies coming, so he sets himself on top of the ramp, immediately picks off one Stalker, and now the Blink battle begins. MaNa, of course, having to push his way up this ramp, needs to stay up there for vision. As he blinks away, he takes free shots from the opposing army.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done that here. PartinG is going to completely out-micro MaNa with a pre-set up concave up the ramp. MaNa is actually going for it. He's starting to overwhelm here a little bit. He has got quite a few more Stalkers. I can't believe he's been able to do this well here.
I mean, MaNa's bringing the pressure all the way back.
11 Stalkers.
Yeah, he's at 11 to 8. Now, he does need to keep moving his Pro Sword. He needs to get another pylon up at this point. He does step up again, steps another Stalker. There's the Guardian Shield you were talking about, so these Stalkers can stay in battle a little bit longer.
You don't fight against Guardian Shield like this. The thing is, he has quite a few more Stalkers. Remember, there is no photon overcharge because he never made a Mothership core here, PartinG, so if MaNa's able to get on Stalkers down there, he shouldn't be fighting against the Guardian Shield.
Yeah, I mean, that Guardian Shield sentry still tucked in the back, so not able to pick that one off just yet.
Concave, man.
And it's getting very close. Yeah, MaNa has a really good spread. That Nexus is done, but as long as PartinG can defend, if he can find a way to hold on, he has that second base to fall back to.
Some of these Stalkers by MaNa were attacking the Nexus. I think this is going to be it. He's lost everything. He was committed. This was all in. The Mothership core gets there, but it might be too late.
Yeah, even with a Time Warp, he can still blink back despite being caught in that rift. And MaNa's going to warp in as aggressively as you possibly can. He has the pylon right here, but it's 6 Stalkers to just 7. A lot of the Stalkers are weak of PartinG. 3 of them at red health. Okay, focuses down the weakest ones, grabs a couple more.
5 Stalkers to 5.
5v5. Now MaNa bringing all the pressure that he can here, Todd.
This is actually so difficult, like, for both players to make work here. Whoever makes a little bit more micro mistake, he's gonna lose. And MaNa, no, he's finally got the setup down the ramp, not to allow PartinG down. So essentially, he's gonna be able to kill the Nexus and the probe that is there. He's still behind in walkers, but if he can go for a lockdown and at home start his own Nexus, he's gonna be in a great position.
Yeah, you said it, Todd. He's going for the lockdown. He takes out the natural with that spread at the bottom of the ramp. PartinG brings in 2 Zealots. So if MaNa tries to force up the ramp, then the Zealots get the hits and the insane damage output. They doesn't have to worry about the range anymore because he needs the vision. And PartinG does still have the Observer. He knows that MaNa has to take this fight.
Whoa, MaNa is overextending here. I'm really surprised he's trying to move up the ramp, but I guess it's gonna be too hard for PartinG anyway to go down the ramp and fight. Is MaNa actually gonna pull back? I can't believe. I really thought he was gonna go for a lockdown. One thing that PartinG has going for him is that he has a Robo, so not only is going to get a lot of vision from the Observers, but getting that first Immortal here is really going to help in fighting against those Blink Stalkers.
I really like this, though. MaNa starts up an Oracle. Now, did PartinG's Observer, did he see that the Oracle started on that Stargate? Because he still never built a Mothership core.
He's going to see it, I think.
Okay, yeah, he comes back. He can double-check this, and that means PartinG can just build a Phoenix out of his Stargate, right?
Yeah. Or even like keep the Blink Stalkers back at home ready to blink, to snipe that. It's really cool that he made double Observer. He's going to get so much vision from that. He sees that the Nexus is going to be later here for MaNa. And PartinG, I do think that he's still ahead, but he's still in a fairly fragile position. Like if he was to lose quite a few probes here from that Oracle, he'd be in trouble. But by the look of things, he's totally ready for this with few Stalkers in the main.
And that seems to be all he really needs. MaNa still has not started up that transitionary tech to move into the Robo to either get Immortals, to get Colossi, and I think this is a little bit, broke really to try to move into anything Templar related. So he does start the robotics facility.
Yeah, you need to get that, and usually expansion against expansion, getting a Forge also going to be very important to get those upgrades started. Oh, that Oracle stopped moving here for a second. It's going to take quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, needs to be very careful because there's still Stalkers on the right side, and he's actually going to see the Oracle blinks under. He grabs it. Only able to get a little bit of revelation on some of these Stalkers, but that's not really going to be super useful, and MaNa just taps out.
Wow.
Little surprising. He didn't, I guess he just realized that he was in a position where coming back would probably be really tough.
Yeah, didn't want to play from behind much longer in this game. We've seen him before stay pretty long. I think against Firecake earlier, he stayed pretty long time in the game. He wasn't going to win, but this time doesn't want to bother. He didn't go well from the start. He got tricked. The first timings did a little bit too much. And even though it almost looked like he was going to be able to do it at some points, not being able to reinforce closer to the fight, and some of the Stalkers being attacking Nexus rather than the Stalkers of PartinG did it for PartinG, and he had a nice defense himself.
Pretty interesting. PartinG's like, yeah, I can play PvP without Mothership Core. Rather have units that I can actually kill you with. And it seemed very, very close when he was making that push into MaNa's base because he had a pretty significant Stalker lead. But the warp-ins that MaNa was bringing in, the natural, the Zealots, forced, obviously the counter warp-ins. And at that point, it really makes it difficult to force the aggression as PartinG. You know,
that fight up the ramp in the middle of the map for PartinG, I thought it was the right choice to go for it just because of the concave that he set up. But I guess in the end, it wasn't that good. And not nearly as good as obviously fighting with his sentries. If he had Guardian Shield, it's like wouldn't even have been close. If he had just gone home, started at Nexus, realized that MaNa wasn't getting one himself. But in the end, it was enough.
Yeah, being able to squeeze out the robotics facility during all of that, it looks like a really difficult thing to actually pull off because, I mean, you're both spamming out Stalkers at that point. MaNa got the extra gateway.
It feels like you're making observers for nothing, but in the end, they give you so much information that if you don't, get surprised and die right out, you have enough information to adjust to pretty much anything your opponent is doing. And here, that's what happened. Like MaNa was probably seeing the blur, from these observers, and he's like, well, he knows everything I'm doing. I'm gonna try, I guess, for an Oracle, hope to get lucky. Saw it was spotted, flew into the main. There were Stalkers there. He's like, well, there's just no way.
In that position, making the investment into the Oracle and getting nothing from it, I guess that's like.
Yeah.
You kind of know at that point there's really nothing else that you can do.
It's not a dream scenario, Nathanias.
Not the dream PvP.
Not everybody can make the best use of their money and minerals like you do from all these donations.
Thanks, Todd. I'm glad you managed to slip that in there. So what kind of adjustment does MaNa need to make? What really stood out to you? Was it just the micro?
He needs to keep on rolling the dice and hope he gets lucky, Like this game.
Okay, so imagine that you could have changed MaNa's build to anything, knowing what PartinG was going to do. Because PartinG didn't scout at the beginning of the game.
Open Blink directly, and then your opponent made a Stargate and a Phoenix that are going to be completely useless. Your Blink against Blink with more Stalkers, it's great for you. You can either expand or go for an attack. You're going to be in a great position either way. If you open Blink directly, he would have had Blink earlier than PartinG, and he would have had more Stalkers. He would have had the defense against one Phoenix that's not going to do anything anyway. So even though he made the Mothership Core that was in the end useful in that situation, if he had just gone for Blink and 3 gates, I think he would have just tried out one. But it's very, very hard to go for Blink and 3 gates. You need to be really lucky to actually counter something properly.
Do you think that maybe the Stargate play just something you'd wipe off against PartinG? Because it seemed like obviously you go opening up with the Stalkers at the Mothership Core. The Stalkers alone can kind of handle early Oracle. Going into the Phoenix, of course, like you said, it does the Mothership Core's job of preventing the Oracle from doing anything.
There's this one thought that I think a lot of pros share, some maybe disagree with it, but is that if you think that you're better than your opponents, one of the very good things that you can do in PvP is play Blink, because with Blink you have so much initiative. You can go to play counter-attacks, you can go for all-ins, you can play macro behind you can do pretty much anything. There is a very few builds that actually hard counter Blink, and you can scout most of those. For example, if somebody goes Quick Nexus into Robo, you can still break them sometimes. It's very, very hard, especially somebody like PartinG, but PartinG is not really likely to go for that. So I think opening Blink directly, it could be nice for MaNa, even if he doesn't get a build order win, but it's going to propel him into the game, even most of the times, which against PartinG you don't always want because he's so good.
Yeah, I do like that, though. This guy's builds have been they seem very well suited to dealing with the kind of stuff that catches the average player off guard. Of course, that's why he's up 1-0. He's the red Protoss in the northeast position of Expedition Lost. Yoey Flash Wolves, PartinG. Wants to get the check so he can get the girl, Todd. His opponent in the bottom left position, currently down 0-1 in this best of 3. Representing Team Liquid, he is MaNa.
With yet another very interesting pylon placement towards the ramp. You see that against Zerg a lot, but not really in PvP, so he might want to be aggressive here. Let's see at what timing he's going to get that gateway.
Yeah, I did want to ask you, based on the last game, he's starting to stack up those minerals just a little bit. Do you feel that the gateway timing made any difference for PartinG on Echo? Or was it just like a meh?
I don't think it changed too much, whether he was going to go for a 13 gate or an earlier one, but I guess he got his tech a little bit faster. MaNa.
Oh my god. It's happening. He's gonna can rush PartinG.
I can't believe
that's great.
On this map?
I don't know. I don't have words for this.
He might get it around the naturals minerals and then go up from there.
I suppose.
Let's check.
Well, this is just going to get very interesting. Okay, so we're gonna get some goals.
You know, PartinG hasn't been scouting much really around his base. Last game he scouted very late. If he sees these too late, at least his gateway is like not closer. Like if his gateway is closer to this and gets sniped from the first few cannons,
he's got to be hoping to put a cannon on the bottom right and then use it to protect the cannons he builds up top.
Exactly.
You know, the classic cannon rushing strategy, Todd.
The thing is, since you can't build cannons up the ramp with your pylon down the ramp,
it's not Wings of Liberty there. So now he sees the pylon on the low ground. The second probe comes in. He's going to try to lock himself in. There's the cannon. He's denying surface area so that probes can't surround it and actually cancel it. PartinG actually does block him from placing another pylon though, and he only needs 3 workers to be able to get on top of the cannon to actually prevent it from finishing.
Yeah, but there was quite a few hit points that got, you know, up on that cannon what it was building here. So, but yeah, so far it looks like he's going to do enough damage to take that one. It might just be a very quick 2-0 here.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't be able to finish any cannons. And what does MaNa have behind this?
There's no recovery, man. You have to take like the sickest gamble and.
But he's got a lot of minerals. He's building Nexus.
Yeah,
no, he's gonna build a gateway.
You start a Nexus, a mothership core is gonna fly into your base in 1 second. Look at this, PartinG cue the mothership core immediately. He's gonna force cannons back at home for MaNa, who's already kind of broke. He's 1 worker behind. Teching is gonna be his priority, and PartinG, he's taking a great option on the win here, basically.
Yeah, that's. I mean, when cannon rush, when cheese fails, Todd. I think we can just go back to that.
Wow, and PartinG is even gonna check inside of his base. He's brilliant. He's not gonna take any chances. He's gonna clear that probe, then start flying across the map. It's gonna be so hard for MaNa to come back from here, and by so hard I mean almost impossible.
We got to just see that probe play a little Pac-Man with the mothership core. Our observer, our French observer, Funka, doing a good job showing us what's been going on in these games today. You guys been enjoying the observer? Definitely give Funka a hand. Frenchman representing here.
Yeah, they have. They know that we're not missing anything with Funka, that's for sure. Yeah. All right, from here, I mean, what can MaNa do? I guess get a cannon up his ramp and.
Well, it's like, what can you do, really?
Yeah, not much. Usually you need a perfect wall at your ramp and then cannons behind, and your opponent can't go up there yet. But right now, like that Zealot is gonna walk right up in there and say, "Get the hell out of my game. I want to get the girls. I want to get to the next round."
You tried to cannon rush Code as finalist. It's not that easy, man.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, you know, you kill this pylon, you're shutting everything down. Like, the only thing he can build is the mothership core. Like, these other gateways that'll finish up, he can try to get the stalkers out. But I think even, I guess both pylons.
You know what's funny?
Them.
I could totally see PartinG plan down the Nexus here.
That would be true PartinG style.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it would be a little bit premature. I don't think so. Like he's just so far ahead.
I mean, at this point, like you think about the levels of BM PartinG would go to. If he could, he would even consider maybe photon overcharging MaNa's Nexus.
He tried. he's
like, do you need some power there, bro?
He's gonna start warping in units here there in a second. I think. Yeah, warp gauge is finished. He's gonna warp in stalkers to take down the mothership core ASAP. How much energy does it have? Not enough.
It's not even close. Yeah. Not even 75.
Gonna pull back behind the cannon.
And it time warps, well, basically time warps the probes that are trying to chase these stalkers.
Stalker's gonna fall, and from there, it's gonna be too many stalkers for PartinG, not enough for MaNa, who still doesn't have warp gates. He's trying to get stalkers from regular gateways. GG.
MaNa's like, yeah, that's not gonna work. GG. PartinG takes the 2-0. He is going to advance here at the DreamHack Open Tour. And I don't think anybody's particularly surprised by this one, Johan. PartinG is, he's a true champion in his own right.
Give us a quick wave here. Definitely can be happy about his series. Very well conducted. Good defense into the second game. I think it was the same scout as he went for in the first game, and I guess in the end it's enough to scout most of these, you know, cannon rushes / proxies to react quickly enough. If MaNa had been able to plan down that pylon down the ramp
if you
to
get the
protect
third
the cannon,
one, yeah, the last one to protect, that's when things get really weird.
This might be a very different game because PartinG was already committing a lot to sending down those probes down the ramp to defend against this.
He had already pulled a lot of workers, and then by the time you actually get through one of the pylons to try and reach the cannon, A, the cannon's done in 2 shots, probes, and B, you've got cannons building on the high ground, and that just complicates things a whole lot more.
What did our expert think about it?
I don't know how you really analyze that. That was just a bee sting.
I was talking to Wax.
Yeah, I thought so.
I mean, even the score said like 2-0. I thought that wasn't a particularly like convincing outing from PartinG. And you know, if he goes further down the bracket and he plays perhaps Rain, that might actually come. I don't know. I don't think he's like a.
You mean the first game, right? Because the second game was.
Yeah, the second game was.
Oh yeah, but like the first game was like a little bit worrisome, and if you know, and if that happens versus like a player like Rain, then you know there's no guarantee the PartinG advances on.
I mean, we tried to sort of hype it up a little bit, but I mean, there was a brief period of time where MaNa was in it, right? I mean, like in game one, there was a few moments.
After PartinG took the fight in the center, I think we kind of...
Even like the initial defense, it looked like PartinG, there was a few micro mistakes here and there, like nothing major, but he lost a few stalkers here and there, and that's only because the only reason why he couldn't finish the game. Like if he hadn't stepped too far inside the photon overcharge area, I think he would have had enough stalkers for just going for the kill after the second photon overcharge, just because he would have had way more, and then you can pull all the probes you want against blink stalkers. It's not going to change all that much. So maybe a few mistakes here and there, and in the end, still a 2-0 win though.
And overall, do you think he can be happy with his showing here? Can you feel quite pleased? I mean, it's a tough tournament. There was a tough field.
MaNa said he was happy.
Yeah, I mean, players always do that in StarCraft, don't they? It's like, it's too nice. Yeah, everything's great. We love it.
I think MaNa's pretty good himself for PartinG to realize that, even like if he struggled in the first game, he's the 2-0 win. Tomorrow's a new day. He's going to have like all night to rest and then play again. So I think he can be happy.
Yeah, I think it's a reasonable result. I mean, he met the tournament favorite. He lost to him. That's like not that disappointing for him. And, just going forward, I think he played pretty well against other opponents this tournament, and it looks pretty decent for him going into the WCS.
Team Liquid, there's still life in the old dog. We're loving it. So let's talk a little bit about our tournament favorite. Wax has alluded to the fact that wasn't a very polished performance, but I mean, it seems that he's not fully in destroy mode at the moment. He's laughing and joking in the interviews. He says he's here for the fun. I don't know if he's fully switched on. I think he's pretty confident in beating anyone he plays right now.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when you're as good as PartinG, you can be pretty confident. This guy practices a lot. He always has very deep runs. He's done very well in foreign tournaments, especially. This is one of them. But he said it himself. There is quite a few Koreans in this tournament. He's going to have to be very careful going into the next rounds that he's prepared enough to be able to beat those guys.
Well, let's see if we can winkle out of him. We've got Smix with PartinG again. I think we're going to see lots of interviews with this guy over the course of the tournament. But let's see what he's got to say for himself this time. Take it away, Smix.
I definitely agree, Richard. I feel like I'm getting to know you so well, PartinG. I've spoken to you so many times already. But congratulations on moving on to day 2, on to the round of 8. In your games against MaNa, it was a 2-0, but game 1 was actually pretty close there.
Yes. So my mind so scared.
Why scared?
Because before I lose MaNa in IEM World Championship Global Qualifier 2-1. So I afraid him. But recently I so many practice PvP, so I have confidence. So this time I can beat him, MaNa. So good for me now.
Well, you said you practiced a lot of PvP lately, but your next opponent in the round of 8 is actually going to be Rain. And Rain is a very good player. You played him at Gfinity most recently, and you beat him 3-2, but it was a very close series. Are you still very confident going into that?
Rain, very good player. I always agree. He is good player. But I'm PartinG, very good player. So I think easy win, easy peasy. And I want to revenge Paul San. He beat my teammate San, so I want to revenge Paul San.
All right, well, tomorrow you're going to be on the big stage. I know you said that you really wanted to make it there. It's going to be crazy lights. All the fans are going to be out in the audience watching you. How excited are you, and what are you looking forward to?
그러니까 얼마나 기대되냐고? So big stadium. So I want to play game in big stadium. So now dream come true, and now I think so near DreamHack trophy for me. So waiting for me my trophy.
And French girls?
Never mind.
All right, well, thank you very much, PartinG. Guys, we are going to go to a short commercial break, but when we come back, it'll be Norway versus the Netherlands, Snoot versus Harsum. Stay tuned.